Hey there, what's up? My name's Luke, though you may know me as Catastrophe Reader. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today in this video, after that long break I took, because I kind of fell out of touch with reading, but I'm back into it again thanks to this one series that I'm going to be talking about the first book today. Today I'm going to be doing a book review thing of City of Bones, or The Mortal Instrument City of Bones by can you see where I've got the name from? By Cassandra Clare. So I do kind of have a sheet with points and stuff. So basic summary of the book. It's the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. The plot is set in I think it's maybe set in like 2009, but modern day-ish New York City specifically, and focuses on the life of Clarissa, or Clary Frey, who is an apparent normal teenage girl from Brooklyn. However, she discovers that the world she lives in is not as simple as she once thought it was when she witnessed the murder of a demon at a club. Her life is turned upside down when her mother is kidnapped, and she starts seeing strange creatures around her. The book focuses on her search for her true identity and also on her feelings towards another main character named Jace, and also her finding her mother. The book also touches on numerous themes, and it also focuses on matters regarding discrimination based on race and sexual orientation. So Clary is 15 years old, and in case you didn't know, I am 16, so I feel like there was a sense of relatability in the sense of, oh yeah, I kind of get where she's coming from because I'm putting myself in her situation and I would react probably the same way. Sometimes it's not the most rational, but 15, 16, when are you rational? So there are numerous characters, and I'm not going to go into detail about every single one of them. However, the main characters are Clary Fairchild, or Frey, who's 15 years old and lived as a mundane, which is a regular human, for all her life, when her mother ran away from her father, and they're all shadow hunters. She has an older brother named Jonathan, and because she had the sight since an early age, her mother took her to Magnus Bane, who is a warlock, to cast a spell on her that would prevent her from seeing the shadow world. Clary starts to see the shadow world again when the spell fades, and it needs to be done needs to be redone after 2 years. Her parents are Jocelyn Frey and Valentine Morgenstern, and we'll get more into them in a bit. So next is probably one of the most important characters and one of the most well done characters in my opinion, and that is Jonathan, or Jace Wayland. He's described as being the best shadow hunter of his generation, and from what I remember, he likes to reiterate that a lot. He is 17 years old and was adopted by the Lightwood family after his father was killed when he was 10. He's impulsive but loyal to those who he loves, and he can also be quite full of himself. And that's what I'm meaning by he's not that much of a likeable character in the sense of how certain characters are more likeable than others, but he has that touch of realism because he is such a character. He's a character that's so full of himself, but in a way that is very real. So next we have Simon Lewis, who is a mundane and Clary's best friend, who is very much so in love with her. Simon met Clary when she was 6 years old, and they've become inseparable ever since then. He's described as having a geeky appearance with glasses, brown hair, and always wearing band t-shirts. He is very much so against Clary being a part of the shadow world and wants her to just live a normal, safe life, which obviously she doesn't agree with. Next is Isabel, or Izzy Lightwood. She is a shadow hunter with black hair and dark brown eyes, and she is also tall. She is a skilled shadow hunter and is very attached to her brother Alec and her stepbrother. I don't know why I wrote stepbrother, because I guess, okay, whatever. And Jace. Then there's Alec, who's the oldest child in the Lightwood family and is also Jace's parabatai. Parabatai you don't really get into much in the book, but it's essentially they're connected and they trust each other a lot, and you can also they can tell when they die, pretty much. Basically, there's a whole lot that it's hard to explain. But yeah. He is cold towards Clary at first because he has romantic feelings towards Jace and sees her as a threat. And also as a person that makes Jace do things that puts him in danger, and obviously Alec doesn't like that. Then we have Luke Garraway, who is born a shadow hunter, and he grew up in the shadow hunter country called Idris. He was a member of the Circle, which I will get more into in a bit, and also Valentine's parabatai. He was turned into a werewolf and was betrayed by Valentine, who told him to kill himself, and he fell in love with Jocelyn after she ran away from Valentine, and he became Clary's parental figure. Then there is Hodge Starkweather, who was a former shadow hunter and tutor at the Institute in New York. He was a member of the Circle, and as a punishment he was cursed to never leave the Institute. And then there's Valentine, who is the founder of the Circle, which is a group that follows the beliefs of Valentine, and which are that all downworlders must die in order to have a pure world. Downworlders are the nickname or overall name for everybody who isn't a mundane or shadow hunter. So everybody who has demon blood, so demons, vampires, werewolves, warlocks, fairies or fays, or basically everybody who isn't a mundane or a shadow hunter, because shadow hunters have angel blood and mundanes don't have demon or angel blood. Yeah. He is a cruel man that is willing to sacrifice his family for his cause, and like I said, he is Clary's father. And then there's Jocelyn Frey, who is Clary's mother. She ran away from her husband and hid in the human world with Clary and Luke. She's described as having red curly hair, tall, and a slim figure. And then there is Madame Dorothy, who is a mundane adopted by a warlock who lives in the same apartment buildings as Clary and her mother. She guards a portal in Clary and Jocelyn's apartment building, and that's really all you can say about her. She's not that much of a major character. And then finally there is Magnus Bane, who is the High Warlock of Brooklyn, and he put the spell on Clary to forget everything about the shadow world, and later heals Alec after he's attacked by a demon. So that's all the character, or all the main characters and the important characters, just so then when I continue to talk about different things, people will understand. So there are two main themes in the book, love and identity. Love is the biggest theme, primarily because it's what drives the characters to act. For example, love is what drives Jocelyn to sacrifice herself to keep her daughter safe, and the reason why she didn't run away when she had the chance. The type of love is also what keeps Jace, Alec, and Isabel together. Even if Jace is not related to them through blood, he loves them as his own family and regards them as his siblings. Romantic love is also present in the book. For example, Luke loves Jocelyn, and he even becomes Clara's parental figure, even after he knows that she may not return his feelings. I'm trying to skip through because I wrote a lot, but I'm not going to be able to. The relationship between Clary and Jace begins to become romantic, but neither admits their feelings for one another. And yeah, there's some that I wrote down that I don't really want to spoil the book per se, even though I know that a bunch of people watching this have probably seen Shadowhunters the series, so they already know the kind of plot twist between Clary and Jace. So then the secondary theme is identity. Throughout the book, many characters struggle to discover their identity or struggle after they've discovered their identity. For example, Clary discovering that she is a person who belongs in the shadow world. In the beginning, she's afraid to give up her old life and holds on to her old self, refusing to believe that she's a part of a much larger world. Another person who struggles with accepting his identity is Alec. He knows that if he were to come out as a homosexual, he would be marginalized by the community and maybe even by his own family. He tries to hide his affection for Jace by using his status as a Sparrowbite as a shield for his own feelings. There's quite a few instances in which identity is used that is important. This book overall, and this series overall, I feel like is a very important series. It's one of the first book series that I can think of that has a gay main character, but doesn't just focus on the fact that he's gay. It's just another part of him. For example, say that, because Alec, he is, headstrong, he's, very sure of himself. He is a very good shadow hunter. He wants to protect his family, and he's also gay. It's just another thing that makes him him. And a lot of books that have LGBT characters like to focus on the fact that they're LGBT, kind of like, oh hey, look at that, look, we have a gay character, or we have a trans character, or we have a bisexual character, or whatever. Whereas this book doesn't do that. It focuses more on Clary trying to find her mother and trying to find out the truth about her family, her brother, her father, and it's not always a good ending. And this book really does show that it's not always things don't always end up how you want them to, which is something that not a lot of books focus on. A lot of books they end when everything's happy, and that's not what this book does. that isn't to say that it's a downer. It is honestly an amazing book, and I would 100% recommend it. I think I've covered everything that I want to say about this series. The next book I will probably do is going to be on the second book, which I'm currently in the middle of reading, and I need to remember to take more notes about more important things and not just focus on this one thing, because I wrote all this and I probably read about half of it. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like. If you have any book recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you want to see more book reviews, feel free to subscribe, and yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye.